all new. AM 1150 WTMP.com.
Okay, so here, folks, live.
You're live. Yeah. Go ahead and fire it up. Just so and Facebook Live too. Here we go.
Alrighty. Tampa Bay, it's that time again. I know you guys are waiting, with bated breath, as they said. It's been one of those weeks for me. This your host for Porch Talk Radio, Eddie Adams Jr. Gabriel Phillips is here.
Absolutely.
And we're on Facebook Live. So again,
we are live, right, Tim?
It's been one of those weeks, as I was saying, because let me give you the downer, because on my way last week, I had a friend of the family who was 101 years old, who I ended up having to go to a funeral. During the week this week, I found out that one of my line brothers, folks, so all the fraternity folks and sorority folks understand who your line brothers and sisters are. They might as well be your blood brothers and your blood sister, because when you go through and go over together, that's an eternal bond. So one of my line brothers passed last week, and he's in Atlanta. So I just was hoping that been on the weekend, so I wasn't sure whether they're gonna be here next week or not. But since his funeral is Tuesday in Atlanta,
there you go.
Guess what? I'm hitting the road tomorrow. So.
Get out there.
And it's a long drive, but
you've done that a few times.
I kind of have to get that out the way, because once the show gets started, the show will be over with, and I'll be walking down the hall and say, "Oh man, I meant to mention this, I meant to mention that." So that's one of the reasons I kind of do it up front. So the education part, as I was telling folks last week, for all you young people who are listening, if you got to do a book report, or if you got to do a thesis, you got to do a doctoral, defense, for your master's, for your thesis. All of them have the same basic formula. Tell them what you're going to tell them. So I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a good show. And I got a guest today. And
a lovely guest.
And we got a good topic that we're going to talk about, here in a little bit, get that done. Then you got to do the body, which is you tell people what you're going to tell them, which is the introduction. You tell them, which is the show, and then you tell them what you're going to tell them. And you tell them what you told them, which is the conclusion. So I know I screwed that all up. But
I'll drink to that.
Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them.
Would you just tell us?
So that's the conclusion. So remember that, and it'll take you all the way through your PhD. So you're going to start when you do your first book report, all the way through your PhD. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the educational moment brought to you by Porch Talk Radio. So Eddie Adams is here, Gabriel is here, Tim is here, and for many of you people, our special guest is not only special to us, but she's special to many of you. We have the Honorable Miss Sally Harris.
Yeah. Applaud from the audience.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, we're gonna get the show started. So for folks who like to talk during the show, this is a talk radio show. So if you call in during the show, we're gonna put you on air. Now, if you want to talk to me after the show, which a lot of people do, we'll put those in there too. So for those who want to call during the show, the call-in number here at WTMP is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. For those who want to call me after the show, the call-in number is for Eddie Adams Jr.
Personal number.
Eddie, E-D-D-I-E. My cell phone number is 813-12. You can email me at Eddie, E-D-D-I-E. I don't know why they do Y. Some people do Y for Eddie, and I'm not even get into that right now. E-D-D-I-E at PorchTalkRadio.com. That's my email. And my frat brother, my line brother who passed over, his name was Charles Crump. So a lot of you local people who went to USF knew Crump from Plant City. Again, probably as good a person as you would ever meet.
He had to be as young as you.
Well, he was a few years older than I am.
Uh,
You know, because I went to USF when I was 17. So it was some people. It was a lot older people there. And then when I got involved with the fraternity, you know, it was a few of us younger guys who played as freshmen. So anyway, what we're gonna talk about today, and part of the show before us, you know, and I know the host is on his way home. You know, I had to show him before he left the studio because he kind of hit on this a little bit. You know, so we're gonna talk to Sally. You know, the first half of the show. You know, then we're gonna do the on this day, and then that way, if
absolutely.
we get caught
We gotta
up,
have that.
if we get caught up in the end of it, then we'll have, you know, some time, and we don't have to worry about rushing it. And then the last part, we're gonna do something called. We're gonna talk about something called economic injustice, because that's a disease, that's a plague that affects every black person in America.
I think a lot of people in general, but yes,
Yeah.
black and
Yeah.
Hispanics are nailed to that.
Right, that's kind of like Black Lives Matter. You know, a lot of folks say it, but they don't understand what it means. So anyway.
Yeah, Starbucks just did that, you know.
Yeah. Tokenism.
I think keeping the dream alive in the wrong direction.
Yeah, wrong dream though.
Yeah, you're right about that.
All right, so without further ado, TampaBay. I would like to introduce to you those who do not know her. You know, she's a great friend. I met Sally in 2008. Didn't know who Sally was. Didn't know who Stacey White was. You know, good friend, good supporter of my campaign. Back then I was running for Congress. You know, good friend and a good supporter and a good person that was involved with my campaign. You know, kind of introduced Sally to my organization. You know, and back then I had a whole bunch of volunteers and folks who was trying to help me win. But you know, one of the things we did was help other candidates. You know.
But Daddy, that's a you thing. That's you helping out and reaching out to people, believing that if you can help, if you bring enough people along this path of life and success, then there's payback somewhere down the road. But you don't ask for up front. You just put in the time and the effort.
Just put enough goodwill out there.
There you go.
You know, you don't
That's
know
awesome.
when it's coming back or how it's coming back, but it always comes back. God gives tenfold.
Yes, he does.
That's what I've always
Pass the
told.
plate. Let's go.
So, Miss Tenfold.
Oh, a blessing.
Tenfold with us today, Miss Sally Harris. Sally, tell folks who you are, you know, what you're going to be doing for them, because the school board is a hot thing, and, you know, Porch Talk Radio, we want to make sure people understand that most of the people that I bring on this show got my support, you know, that my personal support and campaign, and if I remember that, I would put on my Sally Harris shirt today and wore it. But, you know, it's the afterthought.
So we bring on the movers and shakers.
But we got it on. So
and we got
so
Sally
welcome.
Harris.
Tell folks who you are and what we're going to do with this election, this cycle.
Well, thank you, and thank you for letting me be here. And I will add that a lot of the stuff I do in my election, I learned from Eddie Adams. He did have a very well-oiled ship that he ran when he ran for Congress. So thanks, guys, for letting me be here. I am running for Hillsborough County School Board, and I'm running countywide. I'm excited about running countywide for the district because my heart is there, and I really understand the needs of our district so well in the fact that I've raised many foster children. I know what struggling children are. I've had every race of foster children in my home, and I will applaud you on saying that the black community does have a struggle, especially even in young people, even in foster care. They don't get the same breaks sometimes. So I lived it and took care of them. So that being said, I absolutely do understand the need in education. One of my biggest pushes, I would say my platform, is that we've got to do a better job in vocational training. You and I've had this conversation a jillion times.
There's just a terrible sucking sound out there in the educational system. From that it's not there, and yet we have some good people that are contractors today that make really, really good money, but they never went to college, but yet they know how to fix stuff. And they have the gift and the skill and a VOTEC. I mean, they will make as much money as unless they got the college degrees.
Absolutely.
More.
And
More.
I don't know when the
Have more fun, for sure.
the pendulum swung too far the other way.
Oof,
It did.
It did. You're right.
And I don't know when that happened, but we need to fix it. And we need to fix it fast, because right now, we have kids graduating that are not going to college, and they get out of school and they don't even know how to apply for a job. They don't know how to address an envelope. They don't know how to actually write a check, although I know checks are out now. But they don't have those skills. So that is what we need to do. And I know that we have a few of the board members presently sitting that have that same drive. So I think you need one more on there that can help with the new administration. We have new administration, and I haven't had the opportunity to meet with the superintendent, but I have met with his cabinet, and I do know that they do have some of these things in mind, and I want to be a part of that.
That's awesome. And how can people find you?
I have a website, which is votesallyharris.com, and you can go to that website. I need a lot of support. It's getting ready. Unfortunately for you and your beautiful yards, it's sign time.
That's why we have yards, I thought.
Oh, and so if you have a property or anything, I could sure use some spots for the signs, but mostly I need people telling people about me.
And a heartfelt thank you real quick from someone as myself that's gone through the foster care system and went through several homes and finally got adopted. Thank you for your heart. I want to give to the community and to people that came into your home.
Oh, gee, you're going to make me cry. I love that. I love
Success
it.
does happen.
See, it's right there.
See.
And it just takes one person
Reaching out,
one person to
like
help
an
you.
idiot, like you said.
And Sally brought up a good point. She was saying, "Oh, I need your support." I'm telling you, she need money. You know,
Money, come on, cha-ching.
see, politician. You know, in politics 101, first thing they say, you got to learn how to ask folks for money, ask folks to help you, ask folks to volunteer. You know, because folks, call me sometimes trying to get in contact with some of the people who I've helped over the years. And at the end of the day, two things that are important for political campaigns: volunteers, folks who will go do some work for you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a lot of money, but if you got volunteers, man, it can make people look and believe, oh, boy, that person's everywhere. Well, and that's what you want them to say. Oh, she's everywhere.
Awesome.
Because if you see those yard signs, all the time, some people, it may be, person may only got 20 or 30 people. Now, I had 150 volunteers at one point in time.
No bragging.
150
You
volunteers,
really did.
150 volunteers, can show up and make an event. I didn't need nobody to come but my volunteers. So, but at the end of the day, we all know that the best candidate don't always win. So that's why when you got a good candidate, you got to show up. You got to help them. You got to go work. If you're not willing to work, then you get what you're supposed to get. That's what I always tell people.
Thank you.
She covered the first thing, Eddie.
Great commercial. Okay, before I run out of time, I need to tell you two more things.
Go ahead.
Okay, the second one is we have a real concern on bullying in the district, and we've been talking about it now for over a year, the bullying. And I want to say that I've really done a lot of studying on it, and in my earlier days, I took a lot of psychology courses, so I've done some research there. And I just want to say that I am excited about the new opportunities that we can give students as early as second grade in coping skills.
Oh, my.
We need to teach these children how to cope.
Not be aggressive.
When somebody hurts their feelings or somebody says something wrong, instead of letting them run or hide or mom and dad trying to take care of it, we need to teach our children's coping skills. And I have talked to the cabinet, and I do know that the district is looking at maybe trying to do something like that. So I'm excited about that, and that is another one of my platform ideas. And then my other one is trying to help teachers get the backing they need on discipline. I just have to say that this COVID virus and having to send these students home to learn under a learning environment at home, I really feel that the parents realized the tough situation they're under. When you have a student that doesn't want to listen or maybe is upset about something and the rest of the kids are wanting to listen, we need help with discipline. Those teachers do a phenomenal job in those classrooms, but they have to have help.
This is a bittersweet conversation, Eddie, because she basically just said people and their brats need to get figured out. And those parents are now figuring out what brats they had because teachers have been fighting them all the time, and they need help.
They need help, and they need the support. When I was raised, and I know Eddie and I have had this conversation, when he was raised, If we got in trouble at school,
Oh, no, I didn't want to go home.
that's exactly right. You didn't want to go home. And that's the kind of support we need again. We need parents to back our teachers. Teachers should be honored. They should be put on a pedestal for the jobs they do. That being said, one of the issues is, and I've said it over and over, we need to look at self-insured for our district so that we can cut our cost of health insurance for our teachers, because they're paying a lot of money monthly.
And as a prior insurance agent, I can tell you the numbers are there to support such an adventure. Now, the political side is there's some money passing somewhere to someone to keep the current contracts in place, but they're horrible. I've come across these rates here in the state of Florida, and I've shopped them for the teachers, and the retired teachers used to be just stuck. They were high premiums. The options weren't really that great, but the self-insured while you're employed they cut the rates maybe, if not a third, to like a half, and that's money back in the teacher's pocket. Not that they're getting paid
There's the
much,
raise.
because they're buying supplies for the rooms, because suddenly the school doesn't have money. Oh my God, it's not fair.
Well, see, also, part of this scenario has to be that the parents and the students are going to be different when this coronavirus thing is over with. Because now some of these parents actually know how bad their kids are. I got to go ahead and say that.
Come on.
But at the end of the day, you're going to need a school board with some folks who understand what this whole process was about and able to translate it from an administrative position to the families and the families in the communities. Because for all intents and purposes, our school board has been just administrative. They only deal with the teachers and
That's
the
all they
teachers
control.
union. They've not been in the community. Now I got to say this about Sally. When Sally won the first time, one of the first things she did was go to the schools, in her district. She went to all of the schools in her district. You got
Every year.
and you got school board members who haven't ever been to any schools in their district, but they sit on the school board.
And the administrative making decisions that affect the people out in the field, which is the teachers, like a war zone sometimes, unfortunately, and those kids. They never get to see them otherwise, unless someone hits the news, I guess. But they're dictating rules.
Now I got to say something, because the last time Sally was on the show, I talked with a couple of people. They say, well, we didn't hear enough from Sally because you and Gabriel kept talking. So me and Gabriel gonna let Sally carry this conversation. So you gotta keep going. So
What's your hot button? You jump out there, like brothers and sisters here. You gotta jump in.
Yeah.
Get us some hot buttons.
You have to be here, guys, to see these two. They work well together. My hot button really is fairness to the children. There's all these issues about race, there's all the issues about equality, and I'm telling you, the most important thing is to have someone on the board that is fair and equitable with all of the children. And I know most of the board members that we have now are really sitting on the board and have that concept, but you have to be able to speak up. You have to speak up for all the kids, not just one race, not just one type of child.
Right.
And I think understanding what the kids go through. Our children today have so many issues that they're facing. Our children in 4th and 5th grade are starting to become anorexia because somebody thinks that they're overweight. Our children today are faced with drug choices early. It is hitting 5th and 6th grade. We have more issues hitting our children younger. Our children don't have the opportunity to stay young as long as they used to. And so because of that, you have to have a group of people on the board willing to look at change, willing to be change engines, and being able to not have rose-colored glasses on, but being open about what's going on and moving the adults to do the right thing.
And I think you have the double-edged sword that you have to work with the student, which is the product of what's going on at home. You have to kind of smooth off the edges from what's going on at home. And then you have to have the parents that sent him in the first place with the edges all roughed up to work them as well. So that's a double-edged sword. That's a challenge.
Well, when you think about how many meals that they fed since the COVID virus, it's in the thousands, millions, excuse me. They're already in the millions of meals that they have served in this district since COVID started.
And see, one thing I have heard, over, and again, Sally's not new at this. She's actually served a full term, on the school board. So this is her second time going through, or third time going through the process, of getting elected to the school board.
She is determined.
And one of the things we got to realize, and one of the things I heard more often than anything else was Sally Harris was like the grandma. So everybody's got a grandma. I don't know anybody, white, black, blue, brown, gray, polka dot, purple, who didn't love their grandma. So that's another thing, because that nurturing, that feel for the students is what we don't have currently. Because we got some people there, but none of them folks up there have I heard them being called anybody's grandma. I'm not trying to insult Sally. I'm just saying, cause that's a personal, something. Everybody loves their grandma.
That's true. Everybody loves their grandma. And I will tell you that I've been told many times I'm a velvet hammer, because I am very kind and I'm a great listener, guys, great listener. But when the time comes to make the tough choices, I have a proven record that I've made the tough choices.
So you can take action.
I can take action. That's the one thing I am. I am a action taker, and I like action moving. I run Circle C Ranch, and this summer I had to make a decision with the COVID virus. Are we going to have a camp or not? We are. We built tree houses outside so that we could have classrooms outside with the children. Our children are having the best summer they've ever had.
Sounds like fun, actually.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Riding horses every day. They're in the swimming pool every day. So what I did is I took a problem and turned it into an asset. And those kids are just having a ball.
And still learning in the process.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So I think on the school board what I do is I bring balance. My background is finance and understanding the budget. We have a $3 billion budget. And understanding the needs and costs and being able to weigh that out. But also to be able to be a listener so that I can help to give the ideas and develop that. And I really support our administration, our principals. Sometimes our principals and our assistant principals get lost in the shuffle, and there isn't anybody out there supporting them. Our guidance counselors, our social workers. It's kind of like they're expected to do their job, but who's supporting them?
Right.
Well, and again, folks who are listening, we haven't said it in a while, but this is Porch Talk Radio. And one of the things that Porch Talk Radio, and hello to the folks on Facebook Live.
Please like it and share.
One of the things we have to take into consideration too is at the end of the day, we do have a system. And for a lot of folks in this county, the system really don't work for your kids. And I'm talking about black folks. At the end of the day, the fact that somebody needs to be there that knows and understands. And we have our representative from District 5, which is the black district, but every school board member is there supporting, representing, and making policies that affect everybody in the district. So, it's not just District 5, it's all of them doing what they're supposed to do. And at some point in time, you need somebody up there who understands and has a nurturing effect on everybody else, who can get stuff done. Don't have to be the one with the big hammer, because sometimes, if you're a hammer, the whole world's a nail. So that's an extreme. You need somebody in between, the hammer and the nail. And I think that's what Sally, has shown in the past that she can do. And there's some school board members up there now that really needs to go. I'm just saying.
Well, and Sally, just kind of clarify on helping the underprivileged children per se. It's not necessarily a handout. It's just a hand up, because if new computers are available in one school, but suddenly not the other one, that has to be a minority school. Well, why can't they use new computers too? So that's just kind of, in my growing up in inner city Houston, where the word PO may have come out of, I'm not sure, but it was basically black and Hispanics on the inner city Houston, and we had some schools, some rough areas. And we had one particular lady, a grandma, and this little lady went around to the schools, and she would go look into the new schools and the nice new buildings, and she'd say, gee, how come my inner city kids don't get those new computers? and she would get the media right there, and then she would show up at the superintendent's office, and they had cameras out in the parking lot, and when they saw this lady come in that parking lot, they would meet her at the door. They were running to the door because the new cameras was right behind her, and within days, new computers started showing up on those inner city schools because somebody cared enough to make that difference.
And those
Sally.
school visits are what make that difference. You gotta see the nuts and bolts of what's
Awesome.
going on those campuses.
And just clarification between a handout and just a handout.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I love that story. And I also want to just share that also that is a lot of times if you take the underprivileged children and give them a privilege, give them the opportunity to do something valuable,
Mhm.
you know, and give them the whole project. All of a sudden, their leadership skills,
Absolutely.
it changes their life. And those kind of opportunities.
There's somebody suddenly.
Yes. And those opportunities need to be given to them more often.
Absolutely.
And see, and let me throw this out there while we throwing stuff out there.
Hey.
You know, Sally is a person that understands the old and the new. You know, because because people don't interact with farm animals a whole lot in the city. I'm just saying, you know, because we were kind of talking about this before the show got started. You know, hay and horses and cows and, you know, and rabbits and squirrels,
Raccoons.
you know, and all kind of stuff.
Possums.
Pigs and goats. You know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm saying that, and a lot of parents say, pigs and goats, and, you know, but there's a lot of stuff that's in nature
Mhm.
that kids learn, and they never forget. These are experiences that will change their lives forever. Now, she does that at Circle C. This is not something we talking about the whole school board,
Mhm.
you know, and all the schools in Hillsborough County, but I'm just saying, having taught from a perspective where we connect children with nature changes a person who's been a hardened, you know, hard high school, hard elementary school person,
Mhm.
you know, their whole life. They don't understand that there's a whole nother world out there, and when you're doing stuff that involves other people, other things, looking at stuff from a different perspective,
Outside the box.
you know, your heart is different, and that's important. You know, when you're gonna be an administrator who deals with changing kids' lives for a living.
You know, bringing a different perspective that he's talking about. I remember growing up in the inner city schools, and a business had donated money to the school system for camp, to send us to camp. And I grew up in inner city Houston. I didn't know what that meant. I mean, I knew what a tent was. We went to this super nice camp with they were just set up with, you can shoot the bow and arrows, you can canoe. I had never done that before in my life. But someone took the time, donated a system, and it was given out to the schools in their city. So I think just stuff like that was amazing. It opened my eyes. Wow, I didn't know this existed. I saw it on TV. Now I got a chance to do it.
And just to share, that's what I do every day right now over the summer. We have archery.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie is giving me a hard time because right before the show, I had just unloaded a round bale of hay to feed the horses. We
Oh,
have-
Sally Harris is tough also, folks.
So we've been doing that, but those kids love that. You're
Mhm.
right. Some children have never even had the opportunity to pick up a bow and arrow,
Or ride a horse.
or ride a horse, or a four-wheeler. There's lots of opportunity. So camp is wonderful, and I run a summer camp every year, and I love it. It's a lot of fun.
And you're involved with the kids directly, and that's awesome.
Okay, we can't forget that, you know, Sally, give the phone number, you know, give your campaign info, you know, because again, the whole idea of Porch Talk information, you know, Porch Talk Radio to give information to the public. And there's some folks out there who probably didn't get it, you know, give it slow, you know, so they can write it down. You know, folks who want to call you, you know, give them your phone number, you know, Facebook, any other information you got.
You're right on the chalkboard because we're live.
Yeah.
All right, I understand. I get so excited about
Yeah.
the topic, I
Yeah.
forget the details.
Yeah.
Okay, attention to details. The details are, the phone number to reach me is 813-453-8429. That's 813-453-8429. And the website is www.votesallyharris.com. It'll take you right to our website. And I hope you will talk to me. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you feel that we need to do to improve our schools. And then get out there and support me, because I love the school board of Phillipsburg County, and I want to represent the entire county.
And she
All right.
needs support and
All
money.
right. That's the way to go. So if you want to hang around with us, for another, little bit,
You're on your own.
Of course,
Ah.
you're welcome to hang out with us, but we're gonna do another track, and again, this is not for hate speech. So I know,
Oh, boy.
there's folks who would
You want to talk that truth again?
take the topic, twist it, turn it, and then call in to try to make it something that is
Of
not.
course.
When we start talking about economic
Mm-hmm.
injustice, it has its own set of rules and regulations that go with it, and a lot of times people don't understand it, because again, it's really not about the racial prejudice in this country. It's about the financial injustices that goes on every day. And on Facebook, I had somebody, I posted something, they didn't like what I posted, which a lot of my Facebook friends don't like the stuff I post, but they have options. This is America.
They can leave.
This is my page, so you can either, you can not respond, you can respond, or you can go friend somebody else. I
Yeah.
don't care. The good
Right.
thing about Facebook, the trash takes itself out. So,
Boy.
again, that being said, but folks who understand me, folks who know me, I post stuff, but at the end of the day, don't get offended because some of this stuff I'm not making up. It's out there. You just reading it on my page, or you reading it on my post. So for a community that has been upset in turmoil for the last couple of weeks, I had some extra time on my hand, so I actually saw 3 movies over the last week. I'm not a big movie person, but they was on Spectrum and they was pretty much free. So I saw Selma, which talked about Martin Luther King and that whole process. I saw Just Mercy, which talked about a black man who was in jail for a crime he didn't commit. Everybody knew he didn't commit the crime, but he was still in jail. And then there was another one called The Hate You Give, which if you look at the initials, it stands for Thug.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're getting serious now, Eddie.
The hate you give. And so I'm not an emotional person, I would say, but it talked about a lot of stuff we deal with every day, in Black America, but white folks don't understand. I get a lot of folks who really miss the point when we start talking about, 400 years of this and 400 years of that, and I'm not privileged, I'm, just because I'm white. Well, it's a lot of stuff they really, really, really don't understand. And part of it is because they've not lived the life. They've not walked a day in the shoes of someone different than themselves. And this country was geared toward a race of people that were not blacks, they were not Hispanic, they were not Asian, and along with that came a lot of stuff. So part of economic, let me read what, I tell you what, before I get into that, let me do On This Day. because once we get to going, then we get a couple calls, the next thing we know, the time is gone.
Time to get out.
Yeah, so let me do On This Day.
Please.
And like last week we had so many On This Day issues that it was hard to narrow them down. So we had a bunch of them. So this week we got some important ones. So I guess back in the olden days, boy, when it got to the summer, boy, every week, every day was important. Stuff was happening. So let me go ahead and get this done. Okay, on this day, June the 13th, 1825, Walter Hunt patented the safety pin. I know that's not a big deal,
But
he sold the rights for $400.
oh my goodness.
And the safety pin has been around forever.
Wow.
And everybody's bought safety pins,
Oh, yeah.
the pin their babies diaper, the pin, everything, the fashion industry, all that stuff, from that little deal. And the guy pretty much, stole it from the inventor for $400.
Wow.
On this day, June the 13th, in 1866. The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was passed by the U.S. Congress. It was ratified on July 9th, 1868. The amendment was designed to grant citizenship to and protect the civil liberties of recently freed slaves. It did this by prohibiting states from denying and abridging the privileges or the amenities of citizens of the United States, or the immunities of the citizens of the United States, depriving any person of his life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or denying any person within their jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. Now this happened June the 13th in 1866. So those things that we take for granted that supposedly apply to everybody. You know, but evidently they don't. But again, we just saying, you know, there was a law out there, and it's been out there for a long time, that everybody's supposed to have the same rights, privileges, and all that stuff granted by the U.S. Constitution. Also, on this day, June the 13th, 1888, the U.S. Congress created the Department of Labor. So it's been around for a while. Yes. Also, on this day, see, this, like I said, this is one of them dates when stuff, you know, some of the stuff I just could not do on this day. On this day in 1966, the landmark Miranda versus Arizona decision was issued by the U.S. Supreme Court. The decision ruled that criminal suspects had to be informed of their constitutional rights before being questioned by police.
So they had to be Mirandized.
I didn't see a lot of Mirandizing going on for George Floyd the last week. I'm just saying. I never saw. Matter of fact, at the end of and I said this last week, at the end of that whole process, those guys that came up that was supposed to be EMT,
they weren't.
They took a pulse. They didn't try to resuscitate him. You know, they put him on a gurney, put him in the truck, and hauled him off. So I'm just saying
that there were cops.
You know, I've seen people. You know, I worked in the hospital for 20 years. I've seen people unconscious for 20 minutes and have come back. I'm just saying.
EMT don't wear bulletproof vests and carry guns.
No,
and those are the 4 people that jumped out of the back of that ambulance.
All right, and last but not least, in 1967, Solicitor General Thurgood Marshall was nominated by President Lyndon B. Johnson to become the first black justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. So I'm just saying, there was a bunch of stuff happened,
big stuff,
on this day in history. So you know, some of that. I don't think I had a hard time just not saying all of that stuff. And so maybe the safety pin, you know, that was just to get it started.
There you go.
You know, but the other stuff was important stuff, and it all relates back to what's happening today, what's happening in this country today, what's happening to people today. You know, and I heard a lot of stuff, and one of the groups, organizations that I've been involved with, the Saturday Morning Breakfast Group, you know, for give or take somewhere between 15 and 10 years, I've been dealing with USF, and that's not going to be my problem. That's not going to be my conversation. But I got to say, USF is a multi-million-dollar institution that creates winners and losers every day, just from the fact that they're educators, they're an institution, and they put millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, into the economy.
Probably billions. And
the fact that they spend less than 1% of that money with black businesses in the Tampa Bay area. Less than 1%.
Is that called systemic?
It's called it's called economic injustice, because just think if they took 10% of that money, spent it with local black businesses, that would change the face of this whole community.
It sure would.
I mean, without going out of your way to just doing the right thing. part of that whole economic justice, economic, dependency thing, folks keep saying, oh, black folks looking for a handout. We ain't looking for a handout.
No,
We are not.
neither Hispanics.
Just like our foster children, you just need a lift.
You just,
Need a door to open. That's
just
it.
need an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Just open the door.
Absolutely.
And I asked someone a couple weeks ago, how many Fortune 500 companies are in the Tampa Bay area? And someone is telling me 2. But Fortune 500 companies change the economic outcomes
Oh, yeah.
of lives in the community
Oh,
in which they exist.
A lot of money flow through.
And the show before me, not often do I repeat stuff that I hear on the show.
But you give
before
credit to
me,
it, and that's good.
But yeah, I'm gonna give credit when credit is due. That young man said that less than 1% of all the Fortune 500 companies in America have black CEOs. Less than 1%. Now you talking about wealth.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's big. That's not riches. Riches is credit.
Yeah, no.
Wealth.
Wealth.
It sure is
That's
piles of money.
that's real wealth, and if those Fortune 500 companies decided they wanted to change the fortune of any city or cities, inner cities,
Amazon.
and I'm not talking about give, I'm talking about invest. I'm talking about make a difference. If they decide to do that, they can change, why people are in the street rioting because of police brutality. The people are in the street because they have been through economic injustice. Because somebody say, well, we're not going to give you anything. And people ain't looking for you to give them anything. Good house to live in, a place to live in the community that's affordable housing. That's something that folks, either you can afford it or you can't. People don't live in their cars, don't live in boxes under bridges because they want to.
No. Eddie, and I think we're all on the same page of just trying to get an opportunity to happen. And as you have found that the college isn't doing their fair share with the money, which is provided a lot of times by tax. The government gives them money every year.
Yeah.
People donate money
Land
every
grant
year.
colleges.
So it's an understanding that the best use of energies,
Yes.
and we had this back when you had Sheila Jackson on here with you,
Mhm.
directing the energies, the rioting and looting we know is not tied to George Floyd, not
No,
tied at all.
no.
We know those just anarchists. We've kind of figured that one out. We peeled the potato back, the onion, and figured out, okay, that's not it. But again, being able to
It was
focus.
a straw. That was a straw.
Yeah, but understanding that if it was just the energy is redirected into why is that college that way? Why can't that be changed? Why can't that be brought to the attention? What board meetings do they have? We can begin to get people to show up. Now the energy is redirected. Suddenly the opportunities begin to open up because the college goes, uh-oh, they got the magnifying glass on us. We better do something. We got to change.
But we've been looking at them for 10 years, 13 years. And last year, if you folks listen to this show last year, we actually, when the old president was there, we was having meetings, we brought these numbers up. Then I actually read, in the paper, in the Tampa Times, that they're aware of it. So it's not just, well, we're going to change. We ain't going to change. And you've had 13 years of folks saying, well, you ain't spending no money, you ain't spending no money. We ain't asking you to change your culture. We asking you to do and spend every dollar that you've been spending. Just change the select people who you've been spending it with. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to do the right thing, you almost have to try to spend less than 1% of your money with black folks. You got to. It's got to be an intended purpose for it to happen just on the jump. Randomly, you would spend more than 1% of your money with
And how
folks,
many years?
And USF been there since 1956. But I'm talking about what's happened over the last 10 years. Because we've been at them, we've been showing them. The numbers that we talk about come from their system. They say, they give us the numbers, we look at the numbers and then say, well, golly, Wally, darn.
Gosh darn it.
And that's just one institution. And USF ain't the biggest financial institution in this area.
No.
But think of the leadership, if they would do it, and other companies would follow suit. Just think of that. If we could get one company to jump in and start doing that and changing, we can make this change happen.
And it's a positive change for the whole community. You know, that's one thing, you know, about us folks here at Porch Talk Radio. It's a lot of people, you know, and folks, you know, on Facebook Live, you know, one of the things that we do here is try to create a conversation in which there's an exchange of information, exchange of knowledge, and the whole community benefits from it. You know, this is not us complaining. This is not us begging. Because I'm gonna tell you something. There's an institution in the Tampa Bay area that has been doing the right things, and they've been doing it consistently for a period of time. That's Tampa International Airport. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna tell. I gave you one bad guy. I'm giving you a good guy. Good example. Tampa International Airport has had, because for years, you know, I was going to the monthly meeting. So I figure, you know, I don't have to ask what's happening. If I go to the board meeting, the institution have people that report to Tampa International every month as to what they're spending, where they're spending, contracts, all that stuff, and all has to be approved by the board. So I'm taking for granted they ain't lying to the board just to throw me off.
Right.
Because there's a room full of people every month. And they're doing stuff. They got minority contract, they got minority vendors, you know, they got people who spend their time, energy, and effort, you know, out making sure that as an institution they do the right thing. As opposed to the city.
Yeah, that's another one.
As opposed to the county, as opposed to a whole bunch of other folks. All right, folks, we got a caller on Porch Talk Radio. So, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Yeah, Joe Robinson from West Tampa.
All right,
Joe.
We love you, Joe.
Go, Sally, go. Go, Sally, go. You don't need no board member up there that don't like our black folks being in charge of safety. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to still born on, you know, Sally, what you suggest to us for. Anyway, Eddie.
Yes,
South
sir.
Florida needs to have a Title VI complaint file on them and get the feds in here, and they'll change the program. See, all that talking and all that 10 years. If it took you 10 years, you still ain't got no change, then you need to change your taxes. They don't have no problem because they're not afraid. See, so I can go out there, I don't mess with them, but I'm giving y'all a chance to do y'all thing. But when I go out, I shut them down. They know I don't play that. I done done that everywhere I went. School board, aviation authority, everybody around here. I done shut down, put them out, and made them get right, even though I don't get no credit for it. Bottom line is, all I want to say is run, Sally, run, Sally, run, Sally, run, county-wide.
Ditto,
running
Joe.
And running all the way, baby. Because we need change in that outlying overall county seat.
Thank
We
you.
need a change. And Sally did a great job when she got there before. She's not scared to make the decision. And Sally, keep running, baby, and keep getting out there. And let's get them people voting. And vote early, vote by mail. Vote early, vote by mail, and vote for Sally Harris. And that's all I got to say. And I'm off this house. And I see y'all later.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you,
bless.
Joe.
Great
Bye.
commercial. All right, got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? What say you? Hello?
Good afternoon, Brother Eddie and your co-host. This is Brother Dixon from Tampa, Florida.
Welcome.
Yes, I want to let you know that the Coach Foundation, we will have our Juneteenth. It will be by Zoom on June the 27th at 1 p.m. You can tune in and be giving away prizes and some gifts. But now that that's over, I just would like to make some comments concerning the Constitution that you were reading. You know, the Constitution was written by a group of intelligent people who were hypocrites, because the writers of the Constitution, they had slaves at that time. And if you go back and read, we as black people were not considered as human beings. And now, if you notice that all men are created equal, and you know, it did not include women. So we see that the laws, and you know, when the Constitution was written, it took 10 years to come up with the first 10th Amendment to the United States Constitution because they left out all the rights that would go to the people. And number one is the right to go out and freedom of speech. And we see that sometimes when people speak what they want to speak, they get killed. I know, nevertheless, we see that even when the Constitution was written, even like the Fourth Amendment, then you have a legal certain feature, but they had to come with Knapp versus Ohio. And then you talk about the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution. And then you talk about Escobedo and the boy from Arizona. Well, we know that the Constitution is a good document if it's followed, but it's not followed. That's why you have different courts that come in, and they come in with their own interpretation. And what we need to realize here in America, you cannot legislate how people think. And we talk about this country that we're living in now. When the people came from another country, we had Indians and black folks here. And everywhere that the European people have gone, they captured the people that went to Africa. When they went to Africa, the Africans had the silver, the gold, and all the minerals, and they came with the Bible. And Bishop Tutu said, now the black people in Africa got the Bible, and all the white folks from the Europeans, they got the minerals. So we see that we are fighting against a system, and you cannot change people's hearts. And so you see what's happening now. I believe by divine intervention, we were able to see what happened to George Floyd. Now, before we've been saying they've been doing this, they've been telling, look, go back in California when they were kicking us boy all in the behind, and he said, can we all get along?
Rodney
But
King.
see, we know that they have been mistreating black folks for over 400 years. Why do you think the system is going to change now? Do you think the system is going to change now because they saw it on television? But I'll tell you one thing, a lot of whites, they're seeing what their grandparents and great-grandparents have done to black folks and pro-white folks and Indians.
Well, thank you, Reverend Dixon. We got a couple more callers on.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? What say you?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Sister Connie Burton.
Hi,
Hello,
sister.
Connie.
To say I'm doing fine. I wanted to just say this, that while people will, focus on the looting as if that's the basis of the rebellion, people can look at similar situations. Well, not similar, but the results will be similar because somebody is being denied something. So, Eddie, for the last 10, 15 years or so that you all been going to USF with a suit and a tie on, being men at the door, maybe not with a hostile gun, but the end result was nothing was delivered back to the community. Nothing was delivered back, not because you wasn't asking, not because you didn't have the figures, but they wanted the intended results to remain the same.
Yes.
The community to be without the resources, the community to be without the ability to leverage its way on us. And so we have this from every, except for very few, so many policymakers in this city of Tampa has done symbolically what those officers did to George Floyd. They have killed the aspirations of our children, whether it's in the schoolhouse, in the courthouse, with the suspension, with the adjudicating them as adults into the prison system, to the gentrifying out of our community. And so now we get the final result of some looting. No, the looting is as a result of people being denied access to opportunity. And we just got to keep on saying it. I thank God for those young people, but I thank God for people like Medgar Evers that was gunned down at the tender age of 36, 37 years old for doing nothing but for fighting for equal rights and justice for African people, representing the NAACP. He wasn't killed by black-on-black crime, but he was killed because those in power refused to allow us to participate in this case at the table And I hope people understand there will not be no complicit peace. We're not going to go back to a complicit peace, but we're going to keep on demonstrating, keep on demanding until our demands are met. Thank you so much.
God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you, sister. Okay, I think we got one more caller. Then we're gonna let Gabriel. We got two more callers. Okay, let's get them on because Gabriel got to have his little piece too.
Yeah, I think we're about done.
Hello. Okay, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? What say you?
My name's Idris Manders. I'm calling from Tampa. I'll be brief. If I was a committee of one on the school board for a day, I would take the whole year, divide it up into equal segments of time. So there's four major groups here, I guess: blacks, Hispanics, whites, and Asians. Each one of these groups would get 4 months to teach their history. Not just one group get 1 month, another group gets 11 months. No, break it up equally among groups. And another requirement would be that all black teachers would be required to get certified or whatever to teach the Black History course. History, especially a history as glorious and ancient as ours, we have the oldest history there is. A history of people can best be taught by someone from that group.
All right. Thank you.
It's just a psychological thing.
Thank you for calling. We got another caller. Last caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? What say you? Hello?
Hey, Eddie, Mike from Tampa. Good to talk to you. Thanks for taking my call. I had a difference of opinion about Tampa International Airport, Hillsborough County Aviation Authority. I'd like to share with you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Veronica Cintron was hired in April. There was no posting for anyone else to apply for that job. Even though she might be considered a minority, it was a violation of their human resources standard operating procedures on hiring in non-discriminatory manners.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir. Look into it. Thank you.
Gabriel.
You know, folks, as we come to the close here, the black community, and as Eddie and I initially started the show saying that Starbucks is off the ditch, keeping racism alive by having everybody wear Black Lives Matter T-shirts. They're not doing Italian Lives Matter or any of the other groups that seem to just singling out and just keeping the fire alive. We really have to reach beyond that. And you know, folks, right now what we know to be true that 90% of all black murders that happen in America is committed by another black person. We know.
But let me stop you there. The focus is on police killing black folks at a higher rate than anybody else in the country.
Statistically, those have gone down. Now, one life is too much. I'll give that to anybody. I don't care what color they are. One life is too much.
Yeah, but see, and I got to stop because whites and other folks will say, well, black lives don't matter and all. They have other conversations. I know you didn't, but I'm just saying, see, that they're trying to reflect from the issue that's concerning a lot of black folks, and that's what we're trying to do. Make sure folks understand that we're not going off on some tangent and being contradictory
redirecting the energy
to what what's happening.
And I think you hit on some things already with systematic, what's in the system now that can be changed. And we had a caller say, let's get the federal involved.
Yeah.
I don't know, after 10 years of trying to be nice, Eddie, I think that caller's right on the money.
Yeah.
So as we come to a close, folks, with all that being said, the photo ops this week has been awesome by the parties. I think one party did a big kneeling thing, and they had the slave trader master colors and thing that they did. And like, oops, that was a mess up. Well, just a lot of junk going on, folks.
Pelosi couldn't get back up, so
help! I've fallen, and I
can't
want to
do that again.
Up again.
She may not want to do that again.
And token, we use the word token a lot on here in conversation, joking. Why is that all these rioting, looting cities that are still out of control today? They've had black leaders. They were obviously the wrong ones. We need the right ones in place to get the job done.
They got a lot of white folks looting too. I mean,
they do.
You know, because I've been looking at some of the photos. You know, you got, this one is different because at the end of the day, you look at some of those crowds, and some of them are like
A lot of white.
A lot of
There's
white.
a lot
They
of white.
45.
And they're
it's
just taking
45,
advantage of
45,
George Floyd's
65,
situation
you know.
to just become anarchists.
Yeah.
And that's bull.
Right. Well, they're taking advantage of it. So again, a lot of the looting and some of the local looting, I have been told by people who were there, said that they were just peacefully demonstrating, and next thing they know, white folks were writing on stuff and throwing
Those
bricks
are the
and
white
bottles.
supremacists right there.
So that tells me that's organized to create a national image, not in the favor of black community, but to give white folks what they want.
But we're not saying all Democrats
No.
are looters and rioters. We're
No.
just saying all looters and rioters are Democrats.
All right. With that being said, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. We've done through we went through another day.
Live.
Thank you to our guest Sally Harris for being here with us, making it through the day, folks from Facebook Live. We're glad that you saw and was with us. And until next week, same bat time, same bat station.
God bless America.
Tampa Bay, we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.